I am the relatively new Public Services Director. So for the Town of Mooresville, I've been here 2.5 months. I manage the engineering department, the street department, the solid waste department, and the traffic engineering department. So we run all those groups out of the Ops Center and try and take care of the roads and the public services for the citizens in Mooresville. I've been doing this for almost 40 years in various places around North and South Carolina. So I bring a lot of background to those kind of situations. What we wanted to talk about today, and I believe, yes ma'am.
Did you come here because of the challenge that you can face?
A couple of reasons. Location was one reason, family was one reason, and just you're exactly right, looking for another challenge to take on. Here's the mayor. I'm going to give you the floor. We were just started.
Bruce, are those your work clothes?
This is I fly to Finland when I get done with you clothes. So.
Whoa!
I recruited a company, so.
That's a great trip. Do you need anybody to go with you?
Yeah. I think it's 47 and raining, so I'm not
sure.
Oh,
no, thank you. I don't think so. I think I'll pass. Yeah. That's crazy. So I believe this group had a presentation on this topic maybe 2 years ago. So this will be somewhat of an update to give you a general idea of where we're going from a transportation network and a transportation planning. Some of these slides I don't expect you to be able to read on the screen. That's one of the reasons why I gave you a handout. That handout is directly from the Town of Mooresville's website. You can go on the Town of Mooresville's website and look up the detailed information for any of these projects that we're talking about today. So with that, I'm going to get started. Many of you may know that the Town of Mooresville gets some state support for paving roads. So what this just generally indicates is the red lines, which you see a lot of red lines on this map. These are all town-maintained roads. The town is responsible for fixing potholes, for repaving streets, maintaining drainage, maintaining curbs and sidewalks on all those streets that are in red on this map. This is also available on the town website if you want to look up any specific information on any specific street within the Town of Mooresville. And what this map's called on the website is the Powellville Paving Map. This is essentially the map that says we're responsible for maintaining 174 miles of roads that are maintained by the town within the town limits. The remaining roads on the map, either green or yellow, which might be 30% or so of the roads throughout the town, are either state maintained or privately maintained. Privately maintained roads would be maintained by some type of property owners association typically. This is the handout I gave you. This is the one that's straight out of the Town of Mooresville's website. It's just a listing of 29 current and pending projects, most of which are in the state TIP or the State Transportation Improvement Plan. A couple of the roads are town projects only, and I'll point those out as I go through the presentation. The total transportation improvement plan in the Town of Mooresville area is $998 million over the next 6 to 8 years. The TIP is generally done in 8 to 10 year increments, and those projects are rated and evaluated and slotted for funding based on how they rank in comparison to other projects statewide. And there again, I've got the web address here that you can go look at that map in detail. This is also on the back side of your handout. This is just a listing of the projects that is essentially numbered also in according to where the map is numbered as well. Any questions before I get into specific projects to give you general updates on kind of where we're going and what the status of projects are? General road maintenance questions, general road planning questions.
Do you have any more of those maps?
Nicole, did we run out of maps?
We did. If somebody will give me a copy, I'm going to make some copies.
Oh.
I'm just going to make more.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. We will get you some more maps. A bigger crowd than I expected, but that's also good to see. So the first project on the list is Highway 150 and C-150 Wiggins Road intersection. They just mobilized to that project a couple of weeks ago, sometime last month, and they are currently working on that project. It's currently under construction, includes widening for some turn lanes at the two signalized intersections that are about a half mile apart right in that same area. It's anticipated that the completion date will be sometime next year. That is based on the construction contract that the state DOT awarded to the contractor. So when you see we're showing anticipated completion dates, those are either contract completion dates, which the contractor may or may not meet, unfortunately, but that's the best information we can provide with what we have right now. The cost of that project is right at $7.2 million based on the construction contract awarded by DOT.
7.2 million.
Yeah.
Us, 7.2 million, North Carolina.
North Carolina State TIP. Now, some of these projects do have a cost share to them. I didn't bring those details with me, but some of the projects, the Town of Mooresville participates in the construction cost on those projects. I can provide you any details later. I just didn't bring those with me. If you're interested in any specific project on what the town is kicking in on those projects. Because the way the rankings work is the higher the local contribution to any particular state project is the higher that project ranks within the transportation improvement plan. So the more money the town kicks in, the higher the project is rated, and to some extent increases the likelihood that that project will be funded by the state. So we're always balancing how much money the town's going to spend as opposed to how much money state DOT is going to spend in relation to how those projects ranked with other projects throughout the state, so that we can get our fair share of state funding for state projects within the town.
Are you the person who goes to Raleigh? Are you our liaison that says we need more money?
So we don't typically go to Raleigh, so we have a transportation planner. Her name is Sophie Kang. She sits on the Charlotte Regional Transportation Planning Authority, as does Commissioner Qualls. You're chairing that, aren't you? Commissioner Qualls is the chair of that. So all of those projects are submitted to the CRTPO, and that's where they get input into the state ranking system and where they get entered into the TIP through that local agency. Next project under construction, East-West Connector. This is phase one of the East-West Connector. I'll show you what phase two is several slides down the way here. This is a project that was identified to eventually connect I-85 with I-77. Now that's going to be a very long-range project for future phases of this work, but at least phase one is under construction right now. Anticipated completion on that is next year, and that is the contract completion date with the contractor, and the current cost of that project is $38.6 million. And you had a question. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay, perfect. Any questions on east-west? If you go out to the southeast side of town, you'll see this project under construction. They've got the work cleared. They're doing drainage work. They're doing grading work. They're slightly delayed from a project schedule standpoint due to utility locations. Every time they do the road project, they end up having to relocate the overhead wired utilities and the underground utilities that might include gas, water, sewer, fiber optic cables, and those kinds of things. So those tend to delay projects if they're not fully incorporated into the project prior to.
The East-West Connector, that's the one that's right off of Timber Road.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
No, that's not Timber Road. This east-west is farther south. East-west comes in down below the hospital.
Blayton near Lowe's Corporation. There it goes out. It comes from the Lowe's Corporation and then curves around and pops out down further on 115.
Oh, okay. So what's going on off of Timber Road?
Timber Road extension. That's not on here. That's being done through. It was through a grant, but it's been done through a private development. But that's a Timber Road extension. It comes out from any, like, where Shop Safe,
Yeah.
pops out over where the football field is for, Pine Lake.
Okay, and are there houses gonna be built back in there?
There are, that was.
Mix of houses and apartments, and I believe there's a set aside piece for a commercial piece over on the 115 side.
Cause they took a lot of trees.
It's a big old road too, yeah, but you're right, they clear a lot.
Yep, yeah, big development, big road that is being done by a private land developer. Next project, Brawley School Road widening, that is under construction by DOT. That has a December 2028 planned completion date under the current construction contract. The cost of this current phase, which is the phase 2 portion, is about $57 million. The added to that is what they did on phase 1 6 years ago, was about $127 million. Was the original Brawley School widening project, phase 1 project that essentially runs out to the west on that way, which helped traffic congestion significantly on that roadway. Highway 150 widening is also under construction. This is probably the largest project in the Mooresville area because it ties all the way over to Highway 16 over in the Denver area and comes essentially all the way over to I-77, slightly past I-77 in that area. Currently under construction. It's got 4 to 5 more years of construction remaining. So unfortunately, you will see orange cones and barrels out on 150 for the next 4 or 5 years until they finish that project. And that project is a combination of widening from 2 to 4 lanes, and in some areas, they're actually widening up to 6 lanes in the heavy commercial area. So there will be a significant number of lanes on that road project, which we hope will result in a significant reduction in traffic congestion.
It is in sections though, so 21 to 21 to Bluefield/Williamson and Williamson, so some of that will get done quicker than, the whole project's long, but the section that's probably mostly in Mooresville is on the front end, so yeah, it probably will be done in less than that on our side, and then it kind of stretches out towards Catawba County over time.
Yes, sir.
Are you 100% sure that it includes going to NC-16?
Yes, that was originally in the contract award. As the mayor just mentioned, it runs all the way into Catawba County, and it does include widening across the lake. The new bridge, the additional bridge. Now, I don't know if that's business or bypass.
No, does it go all the way to NC-16?
The current plan goes to 16,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
I think it's 16 business, isn't it?
Kevin, let me just,
Mhm.
Mr. Beck is correct, the plan goes all the way to 16,
Yeah.
but what's funded right now only goes to Harwell Road, which is right across.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Okay,
So
okay,
funding
yeah,
wise,
yeah.
there's a plan
So-
and funding, it's two different things, so, yeah.
Correct, thank you.
yeah, yeah. Langtree Highway 115, that project is currently in design. We are working on some preliminary highway plans in that, utility relocation designs, railroad permitting, those kinds of things. Anticipated start date, funding for construction start date is 2026, and the current cost estimate for that project is $5.1 million. What we're calling Mazeppa Flyover is essentially the bridge for Mazeppa Road to cross over the railroad tracks to eliminate the at-grade railroad crossing. That project is currently in design and permitting phase. We're currently working with the railroad and the federal railroad authorities to get the railroad permits and the railroad approvals done based on the current project's preliminary design. We have acquired some right-of-way for the project. Current anticipated construction start is 2026, but we realize that that may not happen because of railroads are notoriously slow on issuing permits. So that's the target date right now, but to some extent we're at the federal railroad authorities behest and at the railroad itself from a standpoint of issuing a permit for that project. Current cost for that project is around $16 million is the current estimate.
When you say, excuse me, when you say railroad, would be transportation for us or just for the cargo?
No, ma'am, this is just a road that's just gonna cross over the railroad, so we're not building any new railroad. We just need permission from the railroad authority to cross over the railroad, so that you don't have to stop at the railroad tracks if there's a train there anymore.
Okay,
And the general intent, or one of the primary intents of that project is to facilitate a lot of tractor-trailer traffic that is coming to and from the industrial parks in those areas, to get those back and forth to the highway without having to run through the neighborhoods, to keep them on the main roads. Williamson Road widening, there's two sections of this project that are currently funded. Phase A, or Part A is what they're talking about, is in design and permitting. They are finalizing plans for that and finalizing the right-of-way acquisition for that project. Anticipate starting construction on that in '26, of course, pending permits and final right-of-way acquisition on that project.
Did we ever find out, I need to raise my hand. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
Did we ever find out if we're going to get a light, Harbor Cove people there at Williamson before you go over the bridge? Because I don't know that we ever found out that we actually get a traffic light there.
Which one is Harbor Cove?
So it's gonna be in the A section.
Is that
Their door.
this one or this one?
I see what you're
Is
saying.
that Harbor
You got
Cove
here.
right there? Or are they farther down?
Further down on the other side of the lake.
Oh, they're on the other side.
Yeah,
That
closer.
would be.
Over by Eddie's on the
Yeah.
lake, there's going to be a light.
The last I had seen, Jan, I don't think so, but, you know, I don't know that they've finished everything.
Should be
They're working on
right
the,
here.
yeah,
I don't see it sitting right there.
yeah,
Who could I get clarification on that from, Lisa, do you know?
yeah. We can check with
We can-
the Division 12, but the last I had seen, it did not warrant a traffic light at that point.
Because, you know, over on, close to, I think it's on Alcove Road, there's an apartment complex there. It's an apartment complex, they're not homeowners, and they got it.
Because of the realignment of what that's gonna be. So all of like exit 33 and that section of
Yeah.
Williamson will look a lot different.
Yeah.
So that will
It's
help.
part of the flyover
with that.
project.
Yeah, that, it will be incorporated into the Fairview
Yeah.
flyover as well, down through that way. This current plan does not show a signal at that location, but we can certainly pull that and follow up with the state.
We would appreciate it.
Okay. I'm making notes as I go, so. Phase B of that project is then the piece, between Brawley School and 150, essentially. And the combination of those projects, A and B both, is $98.4 million cost estimate. And again, it's anticipated that that construction starts on these projects next year. And most of these dates are coming from when the construction funding has been programmed, isn't available from DOT. So that doesn't mean exactly that's when it's going to start. That means that's the earliest that they can start. Fairview flyover, the mayor mentioned this a second ago. This will actually tie into the Williamson Road project, and it will be relocating and closing bits and pieces of the current frontage road, which I think is Alcove Road, if I'm not mistaken, if that's the name of that frontage road over there. So this will essentially connect the east and west side of I-77 in the industrial park and medical park areas down there on that end of town, and provide better access in and around that Highway 21 and Williamson Road area. Construction start, this is a few more years out, 2027 funding availability date. Project's currently in design and permitting, and the cost estimate for this one's $37.8 million. This is somewhat of a Commissioner, what do we call this, a wish list project, maybe?
What do you
The
do?
I-77 shoulder lanes.
I would skip that altogether, because it's probably not gonna happen. So,
Yeah,
you want my
it's,
candid.
it's actually in study, it's been funded, but we don't think it's gonna happen. It'd be a good project, but, the idea is to use the shoulder lanes in between an on-ramp and an off-ramp between exits to alleviate some of that merging traffic that happens on I-77 at all of the intersections, essentially north of 485. Kind of a wish list, unfortunately, but yeah, that may not happen. It's been on the books for at least 5 years, but we just don't know that it's ever gonna come to fruition at this point. Oates Road, Midnight Road flyover, this is connecting Oates Road on the east side of I-77 with Midnight Lane and Bluefield Road on the west side of I-77. It's currently in design and permitting. Construction anticipated start 2029, funding availability, current cost estimate at $74 million. We are talking with DOT about the potential of pulling out the Oates Road Highway 21 intersection to do a signalization project at that location. I believe the last time we heard was they were going to look at the feasibility of pulling that signalized intersection out of this project and doing it separately so that that signal can be installed prior to 29, because that's a very busy intersection and it does back up pretty regular, and it is a safety hazard at this point. US 21 widening, this is still in the very early planning stages. It's on the tail end of the current TIP with an anticipated start of 2030, anticipated cost of $95 million. Of course, that many years out, that's somewhat of a swag at this point, but you got to start somewhere. That's exactly right. One of the more longer range projects that's currently in the TIP right now. Exit 38, Cornelius Road Interchange, also is another project that's in the out years of the current TIP, although we are in the preliminary design stage, and we are expecting DOT to come out with a routing selection public notice process sometime later this year, so that they can start the permitting process. So once they select a route through a public notice process, then they can start doing the environmental permitting on that route so they can get into the preliminary engineering design stage. Again, this is in the out years with a construction start of 2031, current estimate $69 million. This picture that's on this slide is essentially what we think is going to be the preferred route for that interchange.
Y'all might remember that we looked at like 5 or 6 different opportunities of how to do this interchange, and this is the one that the town asked for them to take a look at. We did it internally. I will tell you, we've also asked the state to entertain the carry model, which we call where we front load money, and then that allows us to move the time frame up. And so basically then the state will promise to pay us back. So we currently have that down with our state representatives, and they're working on trying to see if we can get some traction with that. Because we've had several different groups say they'd be happy to help move that along. Obviously, all of the industrial park would love to see this move, because going back to what you saw with the flyover at Mazeppa, the idea is to take those trucks straight down Cornelius, put them right on the interstate, and get them off of 150 and everywhere else. And so the idea would be, if we can get the state to agree to pay us back, then we can move that up forward. So at least in there, we all been working on that for the last probably year. And hopefully somebody, if there goes permission, we can get that moving a little quicker.
Just a question about exit 38 and the number of warehouses that we think are gonna be in that area. Do we have an estimate of tax revenue for all of those warehouses, or that's way down the road?
I don't even know that we talked about, because honestly, the bigger goal we have would be to do an overlay on Cornelius Road and keep it from becoming like exit 36. So we want to keep it, because the last thing you want to do is plan to move trucks from the industrial park in Mazeppa and then just kill the road with a bunch of curb cuts. So right now, the biggest concern is how to take what's east of Mazeppa, east of 115, and move it to the interstate and do an overlay on Cornelius that kind of, really holds back any kind of like retail and stuff like that would drive a lot of extra traffic. That would be really a road to put trucks on the interstate. That would be the goal.
This is one of the projects I mentioned earlier. This is way out long range. This is certainly in the planning. It's not even funded right now. The town did apply for a federal grant for this project several years ago. Unfortunately, we were not successful. This is the East-West Connector Phase 2, and this will be another piece of the roadway to get from Highway 3 to Highway 115, and that would tie into the current Phase 1 East-West Connector that is under construction right now that will stop at 115. We'll continue to work on funding sources, whether it's through the TIP or whether it's through other state grants or some combination of that. But this is unfortunately not funded at this time. Langtree Road widening, this is just a project study area. We have an engineering firm looking at what improvements can we make to the Langtree Road corridor. Those would include things like road widening, pedestrian improvements, sidewalks, bike lanes, shared use path, access control, driveway limitations, and those kinds of things to improve traffic flow within that part of town. So one final update, I think this might be the last one, is more a little bit about, and you probably heard this before, about what we're doing from a traffic management and operations standpoint. So recently the town of Mooresville was successful in hiring a new traffic engineer and a new traffic operations director. So our traffic operations director is going to be responsible for implementing our traffic operations center. And what that's going to consist of is a control center out at our operations facility on Highway 21 that is going to give us the ability to control traffic signals throughout the town. So as it is right now, the town of Mooresville has 89 or so state traffic signals within the town limits, and we have another 14 traffic signals that are actually owned and operated by the town proper. So what this is going to give us the ability to do is remotely control those signals through fiber optic connection or some other kind of connection so that we can better manage traffic flow, better manage emergency events, and reduce congestion on the primary corridors. So right now we have the building in place and the room in place where this is going to be housed. Over the next year or so, we are looking at the installation and construction of the equipment necessary to run the traffic center and the technology, as well as some of the signal interconnection issues at various locations throughout town. You'll see this map shows somewhat of a phasing plan. That's a lot of that is related to the status of construction on some of the main corridors throughout town. Obviously, we can't do anything on Highway 150 while it's under state contract control for the construction project, as well as some of the other construction projects around town that we can't take any control over until those projects are completed and they're released back to the state for management. Part of this process will be going back to the state and asking for an additional or an upgraded maintenance schedule that would allow us to receive more money from state DOT for actually maintaining and operating traffic signals throughout the town. It's been a multi-year project. We hope to see daylight at the end of the tunnel over the next 12 to 18 or so months. Just depends on. You could be right. Anything involving DOT approval, you better talk in years instead of months. That's exactly right. That's all I have from a project level detail standpoint. I'll be glad to answer any questions about projects or road maintenance or really anything else related to state or town roads around.
Waterland Road.
Yes, ma'am.
What is up with Waterland Road?
Which end? I assume the through street?
The through street that connects 21 and 115.
Speed up pretty badly, isn't it?
It's a death trap.
So
There's a
town,
pothole out there
Mhm.
that somebody's gonna lose a couple tires.
I'll put that on the note, but I'm pretty sure that's state secondary road. But, the way town does paving projects, a good segue into this. The town evaluates the road conditions on town roads on a periodic basis, 3 to 5 years, something like that. We evaluate those pavement conditions based on things like potholes, cracking, drainage issues, future construction projects, utility repair, maintenance work, different things like that. All that goes into a rating system of all 174 miles of roads within the town. And essentially, that rating system kicks out a paving list. And we're gonna essentially pave those roads that are in the worst condition, until we run out of money, essentially. And then a couple of years later, we'll do another paving evaluation list and we'll pave more roads. Now, we may defer paving on some roads based on planned future construction activities, whether that be utility work, widening projects, road improvement projects, something like that. So we may have a road in very poor condition that we don't pave because it might be subject to future construction for drainage or utilities or something else like that. But in general, we're gonna pave the ones that are in the worst condition first. Last year, we just recently completed a paving project, a little over $2 million, I believe, was the range of that number. Now, we don't get near that money back from the state. They give us some money under what they call the Power Bill paving program, which is essentially gas tax money that people pay at the pump. So we get some of that money back, but it's not enough to cover the full cost of our paving program. Yes, ma'am.
What type of improvements are you planning for 115 to 801? Number 17.
I brought the TIP with me, so if I can find it, I can answer that question. I think Fairview. That's a path. Some of those projects are shared use paths or projects. I don't have my list with me. Can I borrow your list real quick? Thank you. Which one did you say that was?
Number 17.
Probably widening and shoulder and sidewalk improvements in that area. I don't think that's a significant widening project, but if you, that's probably a sidewalk project if I had to guess down through there.
For 49 million.
Leave me a phone number and I can look that up and tell you. I think that was so far out, I didn't put that on the list for some reason.
Yeah, it's waiting to be updated in the SNP, so it's at least 5+ years out before it even get leveled up on there, so.
And if you would too, we did an ADA project where we ground down, y'all remember, like where tripping hazards were? Unfortunately, a lot of the sidewalks, not a lot, some portion, I'll try not to be that person. Some portion of those that we ground down now thinned them out to a place now that's breaking. And so, again, no good deed goes unpunished sometimes. I think we had the right intentions. But if y'all see those places, will you send us, and we can go ahead, like I took a picture the other day, one I saw. So just, you see places where it's now worse because of that. You know, good intentions were to make it not a tripping hazard. Now that it's breaking, it's even worse of a tripping hazard. So if you see that, will you take a picture and send it to us? So we can go ahead and get those fixed. I don't want anybody falling down.
Yeah, we just finished a very big phase of that, and we're looking at doing future phases of that work. A private contractor came to do a lot of that grinding. A lot of the full panel replacements, which is essentially pull up a section of sidewalk and pour new, we're doing that with in-house staff and internal staff, keeping up with that same list from that town-wide inspection that was done to meet ADA requirements from that standpoint. I did find the project in the TIP. It is essentially a multi-lane widening project on Highway 150 from 115 to 801. It is not funded for construction within the current TIP. It is only funded for preliminary engineering which means it's more than 6 or 8 years out for a construction start. And that's why I didn't have it on the list. I was only trying to show things that were realistic over the next 6 or 8 years within the TIP for construction. Yes, ma'am.
Who's responsible for the greenways, keeping them up?
It depends on where they're at. If
We
the
had one through our neighborhood, Johnson Manor, that's new. But there's vines growing all in those fences already.
If it is on the public right-of-way, the street department maintains it. If it is through a park, Parks and Rec is going to maintain that. Where is that? What was that neighborhood again? And I'll check on it for you.
Johnson Manor. There's, honeysuckle vines growing up and, you know, as the leaves fall, that thing's gonna be covered in leaves, and you wonder who's gonna keep those off.
I will talk to our Parks and Rec staff and I will have them look at that. But they maintain all the off-road greenways as part of the park system. And anything on the roadway, we're maintaining in public services. But I will pass that along.
And that's a good segue into something else that's been brought up, that we have lots of stuff that's grown in the way of signage and all that. So we really have to do like a complete cutback of stuff all over town. I had somebody in the office the other day was talking about that and brought me a list of different things. So I think that's important because, you know, if you can't see the signs, you know, we don't want to cover up these signs, especially stop signs or whatever. So we have to actually do a whole, that's a conversation we're gonna have on our 3-on-3s about cleaning up all around town where stuff's got in the way.
Mooresville, a long time ago when I was younger, I could be wrong, I'm correct. But I think they used to prune the trees at a certain time of the year. And they don't do that no more.
Sure don't.
They used to keep, Mooresville used to be, it is old, I'm saying old Mooresville. Old Mooresville, you go walk around town, the trees will look nice. I don't remember too many trees being across the road or just,
Hanging out.
wow. Yeah, hanging out. And now it's like, well, what's wrong? I mean, it would help a lot
Yeah.
because it will keep it like when you know frost come in and the ice get on the roads, it will keep the trees from falling and all this other stuff that happened that you have to spend a whole lot of money.
Yeah. Couple of things there.
What's wrong with pruning the trees every year?
There's certainly nothing wrong with it. There's two different reasons to maintain the tree canopy within town. One's primarily a safety reason and an access reason. So they need to be pruned at least 7 feet above sidewalks to provide clearance for people walking and biking and things like that on sidewalks. They also have to be pruned out of the highway to a height so the vehicles don't hit them. Then the aesthetic pruning is a different animal altogether. That probably was something that was done in the Parks Department, and to tell you the truth, I don't know if we're still doing that.
Well, the thing is, the tree's getting so old. I mean, why would you? I mean, after so many years, you're supposed to replant a tree.
Yeah, they do reach maturity. They certainly do.
I mean, in somebody's yard, they can't afford to go in the yard and cut these trees down. These trees look like they should be in the forest somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, so why are we not keeping up with that? Why not? I mean, because a homeowner can't afford the cut down the tree look like it's about, what, 1,000 years old? Or something? 100 years old tree?
Yeah.
I mean, they can't. They really can't. It's expensive.
Yeah. It's several things. Some trees we can't maintain because they're in the power lines or in the phone lines. So there's really not much we can do. We can call the power company. They can come out and treat things that are a hazard to the electrical lines. Then the other issue we run into is if the tree is on private property, we cannot expend public money to maintain anything on private property.
But couldn't you have something in Mooresville like under, what is it? Maintenance that can come out and at least cut the tree down for the person that lived there at a different price than what the people gonna price, because the people, I think, is overpricing.
Because of the tree.
The tree. Yeah, I know, but hey, I mean, that's a lot of money. The tree costs more than a house. I mean.
Some of them do, no doubt, no doubt.
Something has to be done. I mean,
We could
look.
certainly have a conversation with Parks Department, but I just don't know that the town wants to go there to start doing work on private property. It's a liability issue and it's a funding issue. Where am I at? Yes, ma'am.
Where I stayed at, been trimmed, you know, and I always talk about it being trimmed, cause you can't see the light.
Yeah,
And they had nerve to tell me, it wasn't on my tree no how, and so they ain't cut the tree. Very, you know, arrogantly like.
Mhm.
But, why you gonna have a street like that in? I mean, y'all put the street light
Yeah.
out there, I didn't.
So normally, the power company would trim the tree from around the street light.
Well, they don't.
So if you would call, there's two ways you can report that. You can call our office and tell us the street address where it's at.
Okay.
Or you can go on to the Duke Energy website. They have a reporting form for streetlight maintenance. You just have to either give them address or a pole number. There's a tag on the pole that has a number on it.
I've done all that.
Put it in the system, and they're supposed to come out and perform that. Now, I'm not gonna tell you it's fast.
I know.
They're pretty slow from a response time.
And just where they put that satellite up on Cabarrus,
Mm-hmm,
the tree limbs are falling over, so they ain't gonna see them.
yeah, yeah. Yes,
Coming down
ma'am.
that hill, that is
Yeah.
a very dangerous hill.
Mm-hmm. If you do have any,
Down
yeah,
through there. And
yeah,
now school is starting. I'm
Mhm.
gonna let y'all talk, but now that school is starting,
Yeah.
I'm really afraid from coming out there, cause we have to come out, almost out in the road to see.
if you have any sight distance issues at an intersection, call our office and we will investigate it. Our traffic engineer will go look at it. If it is in the public right of way, we will trim it so that you can safely see vehicles approaching at the intersection. That is a service we do
That's what
provide.
they say over and over.
Yes, ma'am.
I travel Fieldstone Road a lot,
Mm-hmm,
and I appreciated the repaving that was done.
mm-hmm.
And I want to give kudos to whoever came back and inspected the road and saw the section in front of the Presbyterian Church that had already started to erode and had that problem taken care of as a taxpayer.
I was out there
believe
I was out there last week. We had
I
a,
appreciate that a lot, having that
Yeah.
fixed the way it should have been done
Yeah.
in the first
yeah,
place.
we had about 800-foot section that had some subgrade issues that had to be reworked through there.
Thank you for that.
Careful with that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, sir. Ma'am, I'm sorry. Don't have my glasses on. I don't have my glasses on. Must be the hair. I don't know.
Yeah, everything is great on that side of town. Now we want to come to 150 going out of town.
Okay.
We live on Overhead Bridge Road,
Mm-hmm.
and we have been trying and trying and trying, and calling and calling and calling to see, please, if we can get a stoplight at 150 and Overhead Bridge. It is a very dangerous intersection. We've had a couple of accidents there. The other thing is Mooresville on Main, that we depend on as seniors, will not go to our complex at all until we do get a traffic light there. And there's a lot of people in my complex over there at Curlin Commons that would use Mooresville on Main more if we could get a traffic light. Now, Tommy told us that they've been working on it,
Mm-hmm.
but, I mean, we don't even know what progress is, but we do have a flashing light, and that's just, forget that. We have a stop sign at the end of our street, forget that.
Yeah.
I mean, we really need, the traffic to try and get, like, to church and make that turn on 158, it's terrible.
Do you know if there's been a request for a traffic study on that roadway?
I have no idea. Tommy DeWeese is the guy that is working as our senior,
Oh, okay.
so I don't know what's going on with that.
Okay,
So
okay.
could we have at least a follow-up? and at
Okay.
least so that we're not,
I can
feeling
go
that
back.
we're lost out there?
Yeah, I can go back and look at the records and see if there's been a previous traffic study. I believe you said it's within that project. It's within that project area that was on the list.
Anticipated start date for the traffic signal
Mhm.
Oh,
is
overhead bridge.
2025.
Oh,
The approximate construction time is to be determined.
oh, so we are gonna, it is.
So
on
the 20,
project
that's
list.
like I mentioned earlier, the anticipated start dates are really when the funding is available.
Okay.
The rest of that has to do with contracting efforts and things like that.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I should have looked,
It's our neighborhood too.
Yeah, it's just that sometimes, you overlook things like on the bottom shelf there.
Yes, ma'am.
When are we going to change the parking patterns downtown? I understand we're gonna do diagonals now?
Haven't seen that one.
No?
Have not seen that project anywhere.
Seriously?
We are doing a parking deck downtown, essentially,
We know all that, we did that last month.
where am I at? That way. That way, I guess.
And the only thing we're working on is doing, actually, we don't enforce parking downtown is our biggest problem, right? And so, right, as we all know, and so that is, enforcement will be the next piece, but yeah, diagonal. Every time we've looked at doing diagonal, for every person that says they love it, another person hates it, and so we haven't been able to figure out
People
how.
in Davidson hate it. All you have to do is go down and.
Well, they did that backup one, and they hate that even more.
Oh, yeah, back, okay, so we're
I
not
know
gonna
people,
do
Francis
diagonal.
County says diagonal parking is the devil. So
Yeah,
I don't-
yeah. I haven't looked at that, but I don't think there's enough curb-to-curb spacing on the main road down there to do diagonal parking the safe way.
Good answer, good answer.
Because, I don't see it. I don't see it in that width.
So,
Yes,
so in previous discussions of that, they were gonna take some of the sidewalk.
Yeah.
See, you don't wanna take sidewalk. Downtown, you want wider sidewalk, not narrower sidewalk. So at least that's my opinion anyway. So you don't wanna take sidewalk away from downtown.
See, although let's kick around lots of ideas, like one lane in Main Street and all that. It's all just as, what do you call it, Lisa? Crazy talk.
That's
This
why
is
I
being
looked at-
recorded for the people at home. We're very sorry for any language that comes from our seniors. Their filters have gone away a long time.
There you go. Yes, ma'am.
But we know the truth though, so you guys don't, you work around the truth, we tell the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a simple question.
Mhm.
I was called and asked someone about the length of the grass.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard such an answer in my life.
In the road or where?
No, in the yard.
Oh, okay.
This individual told me that the grass could go as long as 16 inches. That's more than a foot. I mean, can you see that in somebody's yard next door?
Yeah. That is a code enforcement issue, like a property maintenance code issue. There are certain legal rights property owners have, and there's not much the town can do unless it becomes a public nuisance, or what's defined as a public nuisance. So there's a fine line to walk between the property owner's rights and the neighbor's rights. And code enforcement is trying to balance that
Well,
best they
If
can.
you will, I don't think you're mistaken for that. I think the problem is like, that's a very global rule, right? So of course we drive by a piece of undeveloped property and you see 16 inches of grass, don't think much about it. Somebody's front yard has 16 inches of grass, looks like I had a conversation over the weekend with a homeowner group. They're trying to figure out this person, same way they're not cutting their grass and they're also letting their dogs not cleaning up their stuff in their backyard and it's got smell. It's just really, our hands are tied because again, we try to figure out what to do with that. And I don't have a lot of great answers. I'm trying to work on that for them as well. But that gets a little bit difficult that way. Yeah. So I agree with you. If my neighbor had 16 inches of grass, I'd be pissed. Right?
Yeah, certainly, certainly.
This is not bad.
I mean, like when I get out of my car at night and there's all this grass, I don't know what might jump out of this grass.
Yeah, I understand. Do you know so you've put in that request before?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Give me the address and I'll follow up with code enforcement, but,
That's
we
what
can
it
check.
gets so frustrating when you're telling us to do all this, like Brenda said, and then you don't get no answers, you don't get no response, and everything is supposed to be in Mooresville transparent. And we just, Brenda's been waiting a while, that lady, we've been waiting a while, we just, it's frustrating on our end.
You should get an answer. I'm not gonna tell you it's the answer you wanna hear, but you will get an answer.
Y'all do us a favor though, if you don't get an answer from staff in 48 hours, resend it and copy whichever your favorite elected is. It doesn't make a difference, whether it's me, any commissioner, your ward commissioner is always a great one because they get to see it every day. Copy that person in, and then essentially that gives us a chance to follow up. Because like you said, we find about it after you're already frustrated, and we'd love to know about it a little on the front end of that if you don't mind. That's always helpful.
All right.
And for
Okay.
those that aren't
We'll do
using
that.
email,
We'll try
make sure
that.
they call Chris.
Hey, before y'all wraps up, can we do one thing? We gotta pick next month's topic. And we're like, the reason why we're videoing this one is y'all have the best ideas of topics. And so we're like, hey, the rest of the world would wanna know about some of the stuff y'all wanna know about, right? And so that's why we're like, hey, when we were doing this, let's make sure we're gonna get this out to the public and go, this is a really
yeah.
great presentation that everybody would wanna see. And so essentially, at the end of the day, what we wanna pick next month's topic. Is there something in particular that's, like we talked about park stuff last month? Is there something y'all want for next month?
Since you are, I'm just throwing out, we talked about, making everybody aware of how to access the minutes, the agendas, the recorded. Since you are recording and putting it out there for others, maybe next month would be a good time to give that lesson to how you access, the recorded versions of the
It's a great idea.
council meetings, just because
That's a great idea.
if you're putting it out there, that way then people have more ideas.
And the good news is, and I've said this to y'all before, we're gonna outsource redoing our website, because to be fair, as long as I've been associated with Mooresville, I was there for a bit, and I was gone for like 10 years, came back, our website sucked. It's just bad. It's not user-friendly, it's awful. And so we've decided just to give up on it, whoever's job was internally, and it's gonna get outsourced. But again, I go back to, here's the biggest problem. You take an IT person, and they look at it and they go, this works wonderfully. Well, because they're an IT person,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I want you to, I am the worst technology person in the world. I wanna just have buttons to hit, right? Just make it easy on me. So we're gonna work on that, and I would love to have some of y'all get involved in that, because again, walk through it, and is it user friendly? Because if not, what's the point, right? So let's go ahead, we'll do that next month. We'll have them come in and kind of
Cool.
bring that in, and maybe we can even talk about what is it you would wanna see, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, what we want you to know is
yeah.
what you wanna see, right? I think sometimes we get caught up in that.
And Chris, this is directed to, actually Jane's not here. What has happened to our mayor's senior committee roundtable?
We were supposed to have
That's the
that.
other thing, we haven't heard anything, have
Yeah.
you guys? We
No.
haven't heard anything about that neither.
We talked about that last month, and we were supposed to get that scheduled back up. I don't know what the holdup's been on that, but I told them to go ahead and get scheduled, and so,
We haven't heard anything.
okay, I'll go ahead and figure it out. But we already talked about last month, we were supposed to already have it scheduled with you.
Can I say
I don't
something?
know
If
if
any of you have an issue that requires follow-up today, will you come give me your contact information so that you can be sure to receive a follow-up?
One thing we need to talk about transportation around town,
Yes,
because we need to be able to get, people can't even get out of their driveways. And sometimes traffic be backed up so far, it's ridiculous. Where it used to take you 5 minutes to get somewhere, take you down
Yeah.
20 minutes.
So that's one of the reasons for the Traffic Management Center and the Traffic Operations Center is to help alleviate some of those backups at the signalized intersections.
What are you saying? Are we gonna have some type of bus, another bus going?
No. What we're looking at is mainly signal operations.
no, I
As-
don't think that's what she was talking about.
You talking about
I'm talking
like
about
transit.
transportation.
You're talking transit, like public transit.
Yeah, like the train was supposed to come here.
Oh, yeah.
The train
Yeah.
comes,
Yeah,
right?
like what
And they
Jennifer
said
did,
they-
when she does the council on aging.
And
Mm-hmm.
they said they built so many houses.
Yeah.
More transportation on the weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an ICATS thing.
Mhm.
Your weekend transportation is because ICATS doesn't do transportation on the weekends.
I can't.
Sorry, well, there's a lot of side
Oh,
conversation.
okay. Yeah, sorry.
The weekend transportation, so we, as you know, we contract with ICATS for your trips around here, but ICATS operates Mooresville, Maine, and they have their own stuff, but they do not operate on the weekends. And so that's a county problem. So when you have issues like that, you should call Rodney at the county, because that's who Brad answers to, and he will, and maybe after enough conversation, they'll realize that people transport on more than just 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. But yeah, sorry.
See, now, we never
No,
knew
that's
that
good.
before.
Thank you.
Yeah, but we
Yes.
Mooresville has grown so much. Why should we have to use the county when we should use something right here?
That's a question here, but they are in contract, and y'all can stop me when I overstep. So transportation in Mooresville, just we're outside. So if you're under the Council on Aging, we contract with ICATS. So we pay them,
Exorbitant amount of money.
an exorbitant amount of money. It's massive. You would cry. I do. To provide transportation to like older adults for senior centers, nutrition, hair, doctor, all those things. Because the cost has gone up so much, we have had to limit some of those trips. There are exceptions to every rule, but we've had to limit some of those trips. That's why, you know, you mentioned Mooresville, Maine, being able to go out to Pearland Commons. You know, that would get Jan and her friends, a large portion of them live out there, into Mooresville for activities to go to the restaurants or whatever else. But Mooresville, Maine is contracted with ICATS. ICATS sets their rules for when, and if you're just scheduling transportation with ICATS, then you are in their parameters just like we are. Now, the other part of that too is Town of Mooresville, Council on Aging, we're a nonprofit. We put an exorbitant amount of money into their budget. Town of Mooresville puts an exorbitant amount of money into their budget. City and, you know, the county, and they have grant funding. But when it comes to true issues with transportation in terms of not having a weekend, you know, whatever, and when and they won't transport and where they won't transport to, that is a conversation for the county at ICATS.
And who is Rodney now again?
Rodney is the deputy county manager,
But-
and he oversees ICATS director.
He's the deputy
County manager.
County.
Oh, county manager.
He's the deputy county manager.
Oh, do you have his number or anything?
I can write it down for you, but yeah.
What I'm talking about is just transportation, period.
Yeah.
Public
Public
transit, you're
transportation.
talking public
Like
transit.
Mooresville, Maine,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, for not just the senior citizens.
No, that's Mooresville, Maine's for everybody.
Yeah, but still, you know, like sometimes the parent can't get the child to school. So they need transportation, you know what I'm saying? Because the kid done got put out of, child
Yeah.
got put out of school.
Right, and I think y'all are looking at all
Yeah.
kinds of options.
And transportation will help also people getting to their jobs. I mean, it's a lot. There's
I
a
will-
lot out there that need to be done.
I'll tell you that there are, so if you need to, of any age, if you need to get to certain, college or prep school, like schools outside of high school, middle school, ICATS can transport you and they have money to do that at a very low cost for you. If they tell you they don't, they do. And if you have to go to work and all of those things, regardless of over the age of 18, they can also provide that transportation for you. Not that that's the solution, it's just the solution right now outside of Uber, Lyft, etc. But when they tell you they don't, you should be able to take those rides for $1.
A
Well,
dollar.
I called
$1.
I
her,
ain't got on the bus before, but a dollar.
I called her the other day.
And you don't have to pay it up front. You can have a have a bill.
I called her the
Sorry,
other
I didn't mean
day.
to
and
hide
That's
talked
no,
to
no,
her,
I appreciate
And
it.
she said that they're not, because I wanted to do that with the dollar thing, and she said no more. They weren't taking.
So just to touch on, we all talked about this before.
Yeah.
Commissioner Qualls has been absolutely
Yes.
dogging on this particular subject, and that is the stuff, Upper North Beck is working on something, Gastonia is. There's a grant that we've applied for to help with this, but this is certainly something we were trying to get a better direct access. Now, I will tell you, 18 and under, we're not touching on the 10-foot
Yeah.
pole in this block because there's a lot of liability goes with that, right?
Okay.
Right, but 18 and over, we're working hard because we would like to implement that same idea where you don't take all day to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody go get you, bring it.
And something that we can partner with the town on instead of ICATS.
And the thing
Okay,
is,
yeah, you guys can very much.
what is so
Thanks.
frustrating, Jennifer, as I've told you, and I'm not complaining, but you're limiting to doctor's
Right.
visits or something. I volunteer, Sophie and I, we all volunteer around town. If
Yeah.
we wanna go to North Carolina Feed,
Absolutely.
we'll do it.
So that's,
Oh, okay.
so that's,
That's where Mooresville on Main would come in, they
Yes.
do that.
so that's a,
But that's why I'm talking about the traffic.
But they have limited service area.
So that is, there's a couple answers to that. So that, I would tell you I cannot take you to volunteer as a council on aging because our funds, we spend over $500,000 in transportation alone.
Wow.
I mean, $500,000 back half. I kid you not. So, and that's nonprofit. We are writing grants, we're begging for that money and all of that.
We understand.
So we only have, but we serve the entire county 60 and over. And there is a lot of money Those trips cost $3 a mile, and if you have a walker or a wheelchair, it's $20 for one trip, one leg, added to your $3. Not everybody does. And if you have an oversized walker or oversized wheelchair, it's $25. So a trip that might be 3 miles, well, and you use a wheelchair, that thing just went way up, and we're paying for it both ways. And we want to do that. And we have fought with ICATS about the cost, the way that this is operating. Y'all don't even know how hard we fought. So, it is crazy. So what that does is that takes that $500,000 that I could be spending, I spent last year $100,000 alone on just device fees, those $15 and $20 fees. Do you know how much more transportation I could have provided with that $100,000? So the Council on Aging, because we are trying to serve as many people as we can, we had to, and we always have, it's just been restricted more where we are able to, how often we can take people. But because ICATS has additional funding through 5310 and federal funds, they are able and have always taken people to volunteer, to work, and because they have grant funding specifically for that. Our grant funding, we look at, now if we say you can have 2 medical trips in a week or a month or whatever, but you're on dialysis, well, dialysis is a different funding altogether. You're on chemo, you're on physical therapy, you've got something that you need to go weekly, we're taking you every day. We will take you. If you need, if you don't use all your personal trips, we turn those into medical trips. We make sure you get to the senior center 3 days a week, count the nutrition sites 5 days a week, and so on. But in terms of, we prioritize medical and those personal trips. We love that you volunteer. We want people to volunteer. That then turns into a conversation with ICATS. And what they are and are not funding, and that argument is one to take to Rodney. He's aware of it. He knows it. He supports, getting that information. But you're absolutely right. Transportation is awful. And
Can I ask a question too about that?
Yeah.
ICATS is
County
but it is not a outsourced organization. It is employed by their county employees.
They're county employees.
Mm-hmm. So the county, we joked about this. I asked my fire chief, could you imagine if the fire department showed up and said, well, because of this, we're gonna upgrade your charge? It doesn't make any sense. I have never heard that upgraded charge. They pick you up or they don't. And that's the part I don't grasp.
Yeah.
Because if you never we outsourced it and some company was trying to figure out how to generate revenue, this is a government function by
The
government.
response to it is that it is, the cost of the list, like upkeep of the list and whatnot. Truly, we would prefer a flat fee all the way across everyone instead of a standard, like a fee on each person each time. We are religious about no-shows. And we, have a policy because some people do abuse it. Some you just wake up and you don't feel good. But if you don't cancel 3 hours before that trip and it's already scheduled, they're going out there. Even if they don't go out there, they're billing us for it.
Wow.
And they're billing us for the lift and that, regardless of whether they use it. So there are reasons for it. But yes, you need to talk to ICATS.
Okay,
You need to talk to the county.
So,
The county is where you go. Yeah. Now, if you call Dawn and she's like, we can't do that and that's not, whatever, call me. But if it's wanting to have weekend hours, later hours, that's the county and they need to realize that.
Would y'all like a county commissioner to come speak to y'all?
We can definitely
County
have.
commissioner come out and speak to y'all. They're your representative of the county. We should have a speaker.
Yeah, well, but
You're gonna
like
get me in trouble.
I told you, I called ICATS
Yeah.
last week and talked to Sonia over
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And I said to her, I'd like to get on the list so that I can go to North Carolina. And she told me that they weren't doing it.
Unless their funding has changed and we are not aware,
Maybe
then I don't know. But yeah. And back to that, we've never transported to feed and seed because we have nutrition sites. It was a duplication. But we will take you to feed and seed to pick up a meal box for the month and that sort of thing because we don't provide that service. That's just an example.
It's the weekend stuff that's more frustrating.
Right.
The week you can kind of get by because Sophia
Right.
and a lot of us have ride people that'll take us because they're going. It's the weekends that are really the frustration.
Well, even
I
evenings
mean,
too.
How would you like it if you couldn't go out, like Sunday go to church? I mean,
Right.
you know, fortunately I've got somebody, but, you know, that's what it is. And as town as big as, you know, growing and growing, and we're on the list for the best growing town in the United States, I mean, it just doesn't balance.
Do you mind me asking, where do you go to church?
Uh,
If you don't want to tell me, that's okay.
no, it's, Broad Street, Church of Mooresville, on Wilson and, Broad Street.
Because I think you brought up a great idea. We could probably reach out amongst the churches, because I promise you,
They're banned.
churches want people in the churches.
And a lot of them had vans at one
Yeah,
time.
let's see if we can, maybe we'll bring all the pastors together and have a conversation.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Now,
But-
I was fortunate to have
Yeah.
somebody that's coming out of his way to take me to church,
Right.
but I mean, you know.
I'm a good Methodist, so if you're a Methodist, make
Same.
sure you get there.
Okay.
As long as you're United Methodist. Just kidding. But to your point, evening hours too, it's a thing, you know, like, you don't just stop at 5. We're not, you know, we'd love to program later if you don't have transportation, so across the board, but yeah,
No,
sorry.
and